I would say 9 times out of 10, if you turn on a pair of headphones, put Baddie on, and hand them to me, I'm not going to like it. I just don't really love this kind of music. So many groups in K-pop have tried Girl Crush and added some really basic trap instrumentals in the back, and there are only a few girl groups that have actually pulled it off successfully. You know me on this channel, I'm not a huge fan of Blackpink's music, but I do think they're one of the few groups that can actually pull off that style of Girl Crush well. Woke up this morning at 8 o'clock, first thing I did, went to YouTube, put on Baddie, and I actually kind of liked it. And typically, I don't like music like this. Really short, super cookie cutter, basic Girl Crush music. It's just not really my thing. It is a thing for other people, and they can enjoy that music. And I will admit, this is not a masterpiece of a song. This doesn't even really stack up to Love Dive or even 11, maybe Afterlike, definitely not I Am. This very well may be their worst, release title track. This had 3 title tracks, so I'm not sure if you would consider this their worst if you don't like Either Way or Off the Record. But when it comes to, main release title tracks, like the lead song that they drop when the album drops, this might actually be their worst, which kind of just speaks to the quality of IVE's music, because I don't think this song is bad by any means. It's catchy. In fact, this is the first IVE song that I would say is really playing off its catchiness. That's what it's got going for it. So far with their title tracks, they've been able to elude that a little bit. Don't get me wrong, songs like I Am, Love Dive, they're catchy, but they're also just really high quality songs on all metrics. Baddie is not a high quality song on all metrics. It's catchy. It has a pretty good instrumental, but that's all it really has going for it. I think the vocal performances are also pretty decent, but they're nothing mind-blowing compared to some of the other songs on its own EP. Rap sections are fine, definitely not Ray or Gal's best sections. But I do like Ray and Gal as rappers in IVE because they don't really have to do too much. They don't actually have to be genuinely technically talented rappers, because I wouldn't consider either of them technically talented rappers. They're just good at the rap verses that are presented. I do think Ray specifically has some good performance ability in delivering those lines, but they kind of just do what's asked of them, and I cannot really criticize them for that. The choreo was a bit subpar for this song as well. I've never been utterly in love with IVE choreos. Don't get me wrong, I Am, Love Dive, probably 2 of the more iconic choreos. I've never just been infatuated with their choreos, and this is definitely no different. So overall, you're listening to me talk about the song, you're like, is it a good song? With all that being said, I actually think it's a pretty good song. I enjoy it. To me, there's a difference between catchy songs and songs that are overtly trying to be catchy to blow up on platforms like TikTok. I don't think this song's trying to blow up on TikTok. I think it could, but I don't think it's overtly trying to do that. It's just a song that happens to be very catchy, and that's why I like it, if that makes any sense. It is a little too short for me. Sub 3 minutes is never a good sign for any song in K-pop. I think that's mainly because the second pre-chorus is half the length of the first. For whatever reason, I'm not sure why. One thing I do like is the music video. It's actually a different music video take compared to the rest of their MVs so far. And I said that with Either Way as well. And Off the Record's also slightly different. All 3 of these title track MVs have slightly different MV approaches, which I like. But Baddie is much more of a Red Velvet Birthday Cake music video. Someone said that in my community board post, and they are 100% correct. The MV feels super Red Velvet, specifically Birthday. The two have very similar parallels with the shots and the cuts. Instead of cartoonish elements in Birthday, IVE is using CGI cats in this, which I do like how the cat aesthetic is not super overplayed. It's there. They let you know that a lot of the things in this music video are playing off cats, but it's not shoved down your throat. It's just kind of there. As someone who really loves stage presence, watching some of these performances that they have done for Baddie so far, Yujin is always killing it. She's one of my favorite performers in K-pop, period. But Liso's stage presence has been fantastic, way better than any of her other eras. And I'm not sure what happened, but she's doing a really good job. I also like Gal as well, but again, there's only been one actual live performance as of me recording this. They also had a studio chum, so a lot could change. Maybe if their stage presence immediately gets worse, I don't know, but so far it's been pretty good. Now, as for the response that this community has for Baddie, it's kind of a mixed bag. There's a lot of people who are oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is a great track. They never miss. This is one of my favorites. And then there's another side of the community who's this is terrible. This is bad. This is IVE's worst song. This is IVE's worst drop. And I can see both sides. I get it how this song can be divisive because it's very not IVE. This is not an IVE song, right? It doesn't feel like an IVE song. The length of it doesn't feel like an IVE song. The mixing doesn't feel like an IVE song. The genre doesn't really feel like an IVE song. The whole concept and aesthetic doesn't really feel like an IVE song. It's like somewhat close to kitsch, but like not really. It feels very mainstream, something that IVE has not had with their music, which is what I've enjoyed about them. Like Love Dive does not sound like a song that any other group would make, right? Like Afterlike and I Am doesn't sound like a song any other group would make, but I could picture some groups doing Baddie. Like it's not like an IVE specific song. And look, quality wise, this doesn't hold a candle to Love Dive or I Am or even really 11 or Wave to me or really either Off the Record. Like this is a worse song. I'll tell you here first. Okay, I agree this song is not super high quality for them, but it's fun. And I think the reason that they dropped this on the album or the EP release, excuse me, is because it is a fun song. It shouldn't really be taken too seriously compared to Either Way, compared to Off the Record, which have very deep, like, kind of lore, backstory implications. I think IVE have been missing a song like this in their discography, like a song that you can just really put on and repeat at any time. Like, don't get me wrong, I could play 11 and Afterlike and Love Dive whenever, but those songs feel like they are trying to fit somewhat of a niche, while Baddie is just a song that you can, like, throw on while you're like walking to class on a Thursday afternoon, right? What I'm trying to say is that Baddie is not taking itself too seriously, and I don't think you're supposed to take it all that serious. It's not like Queen Card by Idol, where like obviously the lyrics are pointing to the fact that they are like drawing inspiration from pop culture and are saying goofy lyrics on purpose to get a reaction out of the audience. Like, no, Baddie's not like that, but it's not taking itself as seriously as like an Either Way or an Off the Record or a Love Dive, where they're really like hitting you with lore and putting more emotion into the song. Baddie is just a bop. Like that, it's a bop. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be anything deeper. IVE have officially filled the niche of a party banger with this song. Like that's what this is. It's honestly the closest thing to a club song that we've gotten from IVE outside of like Hypnosis. Those are probably the two songs that are closest to like club music for them. I get the backlash for this song. I'm all ears for the comments, but I honestly think that the point of dropping this with the EP was the fact that Either Way, Off the Record built hype for the EP because they were different songs for IVE, with kind of different musical directions and different aesthetics in the MVs. And so they're going to do that same process, but with kind of a more hype song, like one that's just more palatable to all audiences. Maybe not all audiences. There's probably plenty of people who like really don't like Girl Crush in K-pop, but I do feel like Baddie is slightly more digestible to the average listener than like the slower pop ballad Either Way, right? And Off the Record, while it being probably the best song off this EP in my opinion, doesn't really have that like pizzazz that Baddie does, right? Like Baddie's really in your face, right? And Off the Record's kind of just off to the corner. So to wrap this video around to the beginning, Baddie is a song that I don't typically like. Because it's very basic, it's very bland, and this could be my IVE bias talking. They're like a top 5 girl group for me right now in K-pop, but there's just something about the song that I actually really like. I think it's just catchy, and I think the instrumental is very good, even if it's kind of more on the basic trap side, but I kind of like that. There hasn't been an IVE song that I can really crank the volume to in my car and like really get the enjoyment out of my good sound system or my headphones. Like, I love the instrumentals for a lot of IVE's other music, but like this song with the instrumentals in my car, that and Hypnosis, yeah. Fast forward 5-6 years in the future, we're gonna be thinking to ourselves, wow, Baddie was kind of a weird release in their discography. It was kind of just like there, trapped between like two amazing songs. And like, yeah, that's fair. I don't think Baddie was meant to be a showstopper. You know what I mean? This song is not supposed to be an I Am or a Love Dive, right? That's not the point. Think of their EP and the way they released this EP as like 3 courses to a meal, with Either Way, Off the Record, and Baddie, which are each filling like different niches, each having different music video styles and different genres and different concepts. That's really smart, I think. I think that's good marketing. Again, I think Starship is marketing this group well, and everyone wants to disagree with me and other people who have that same opinion. I don't know why. I think their musical marketing is great, and I also think their promotional strategy isn't that bad either, because they don't really have to promote themselves. And quick side tangent, I will agree that IVE, when it comes to Starship promoting them, is not nearly promoted as well as like a LE SSERAFIM or a New Jeans, but I don't think the promoting is bad by the company. I think they let the name talk for itself more. I do wish that they would kind of clean up on timing when it comes to dropping teaser photos and stuff like that, but I don't think this group is promoted all that terribly, or at least nearly as bad as I think the rest of IVE's fan base thinks they are. I think it's fine. I think they let their name talk a lot for themselves. Like, oh, IVE is coming back. You know, people start whispering, right? They don't have to like drop 50 million teaser photos like other groups do to get you hyped for it, right? Like, I was hyped for IVE's comeback when they just announced they were coming back. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. IVE's coming back. I do see your stance. Don't get me wrong. I understand you. This is not me coming at you, but I personally disagree. I don't think they're promoted that terribly. But yeah, side tangent over. Baddie is a decent IVE song. I like it. It's fun, and I like fun music. So stream Baddie and watch Eugen fan cams because she's such a good performer. I'll see you guys in the next video.